Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. This one's going out to Daniel Ripley, who just subscribed, used to watch us on cable and thought we ended, but thanks to my buddy Happy Console Gamer, he learned different, didn't he? Daniel, this rundown is all yours. Don't get your hopes up because Shenmue 3 isn't anywhere near finished development. Earlier today, reports began surfacing that the highly anticipated game is entering the final stage of development, causing many gamers to get excited about playing the game in the near future. Unfortunately, this isn't the case. The reports stem from a recent interview with the game's director, Yu Suzuki, done by the Japanese magazine Famitsu. If you read the translation carefully, when Suzuki says final stage of development, he's actually referring to the pre-production process, meaning that the game is only now about to enter full-scale production. It's still on track to be released in December 2017, so you'll have to wait at least a year before you can play it. You can't blame people for wanting to get their hands on Shenmue 3 a little sooner than expected. It's been more than 15 years since the last game was released, and its crowdfunding campaign earned more money on Kickstarter than any other game in history. Now that full-scale production is about to begin, Yu Suzuki says that they'll be releasing new trailers and videos early in the new year.
It's so beautiful.
It looks like DC and Warner Brothers are setting themselves on a suicide course. Following the release of Suicide Squad earlier this year, reports have surfaced that the studio is reuniting with the film's director, David Ayer, to create a follow-up. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Ayer is set to direct a Gotham City Sirens movie based on the recent comic series of the same name. The books were first published in 2009 and focus on an all-female group of DC villains that includes the likes of Catwoman and Poison Ivy and is led by Suicide Squad's Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie is set to reprise her role, although it's unclear if any of her Suicide Squad co-stars will be back as well. It might come as a surprise that Warner Brothers wants more from the makers of Suicide Squad. There were reports of big problems during the production of the film, and it was universally panned by critics when it was finally released. It still ended up earning $745 million worldwide, although the numbers indicate that it would have done even better if it had better word of mouth. Hopefully the Gotham City Sirens film will be an improvement. There's no word yet on where it will fit into the upcoming slate of DC movies, which is already jam-packed with films like Wonder Woman and Justice League.
I'm known to be quite vexing. I'm just forewarning you.
Ladies, shut up!
Ubisoft has found a very honorable way to bring cross-platform multiplayer to consoles. Sort of. Their new online combat game, For Honor, will link the PS4, Xbox One, and PC in a unique way. It includes a new feature called Faction War, where, at the start of the game, players pledge allegiance to a specific faction: Knights, Samurais, or Vikings. Then, every multiplayer match you win helps add to the standing of your faction worldwide, with the most dominant faction getting special perks and rewards. Here's where the cross-platform comes in. The world map is shared across the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. You won't actually be able to play with people on the other platforms, but your wins and losses will contribute to your faction's standing across all three systems. Ubisoft has previously stated that they'd like to bring full cross-platform multiplayer to consoles, but until they're able to do that, they'll have to keep exploring different ways to tie their online worlds together.
And that seems to be sort of a direction that Ubisoft is going in general. I notice they're doing that with the VR games and everything too. They're sort of tying all of their online worlds together a bit.
Well, I like to think of it as just a good idea. Yeah. We should do it, right? We always try to make it. One of the things that I love about working in Ubisoft is we have a great deal of autonomy, right? We can always try to make the best decisions for the game that we're working on, right? Yeah. Then we get really strong guidance about best practices and what we think is going to work, and we have a lot of incredible collaboration, right, sort of up and down the chain, right? But I mean, I think it's a time where we're all kind of learning what really works in multiplayer and what is gonna be fun over the long term. And the more invested, the more you feel like what you're doing is real in this game, right? I think the more that it matters. At least that's the way that I feel when I play these games.
Online integration like Faction Wars comes at a price. For Honor requires a constant internet connection in order to play. Ubisoft says that they're doing this because so many of the game's features are tied into the online community. So you'll need to be connected to the internet at all times, even when you're playing by yourself. This means you won't be able to keep playing if your internet goes down, something that's sure to disappoint many players. We'll let you know if Ubisoft changes their mind. For Honor will hit the PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 14th because nothing says Valentine's Day like good old-fashioned combat. People really like being able to play their favorite games. Go figure. Xbox head Phil Spencer has announced that the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility program for the Xbox One is very popular. He says that nearly 50% of Xbox One owners have played backwards compatible titles, which he says is great to see. The program was first announced shortly after Spencer took over the Xbox division, and since it officially launched last year, more than 300 titles have been added to the list. Gamers have the ability to use their existing Xbox 360 discs to download free digital versions of the same game on the Xbox One, and if you never owned the disc in the first place, you can buy the digital version and play it for the first time. Backwards compatibility is important because, like films, classic games deserve to be preserved, something that's essential to ensuring the longevity of the entire video game industry. And speaking of preservation, 25 awesome films have been saved for all time. The American Library of Congress has selected 25 new movies to be inducted into the National Film Registry. At the top of the pecking order, this year's list includes classics like Alfred Hitchcock's horror masterpiece, The Birds. Ridley Scott's 1991 feminist outing, Thelma and Louise, drove its way onto the list.
You sure?
And you don't have to be at your wit's end to know why they'd also choose Rob Reiner's 1987 adventure, The Princess Bride.
It's so simple.
Disney has no worries because The Lion King is on the list, and the registry really isn't afraid to work with tunes because they also chose Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
What a lucky girl.
Don't you forget about the 1985 John Hughes classic, The Breakfast Club.
Any questions?
25 movies are added to the National Film Registry every year, all of them selected for their cultural, historic, or aesthetic significance. All told, it has more than 700 movies.
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
And that wraps us up for the rundown, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new one.
What in the world can that be? What? Where?
Hey, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, we have tons of cool stuff on this channel, including all of our first season from 1997. Here's a link to the playlist. Watch those episodes, and if you dig what you see, hit subscribe, okay?